I usually post video analysis on this channel, whether it's about Syria, Armenia, or the wider geopolitical issues. Today, however, I'm going to make a statement about Nikol Pashinyan, since we're living historical moments right now in Armenia. Since his arrival to power in 2018, Nikol Pashinyan made sure that he did everything possible to hit the state institutions in Armenia, or the pillars of the Armenian state, especially the Armenian army and the security apparatuses. It's true that these apparatuses could be used in oppressing domestic opposition. But what Pashinyan did, he made sure to hit the dignity, the pride, and the reputation of the Armenian army, and he blamed them for a lot of things, and he made changes and appointments that made the Armenian army look very weak and exposed to foreign enemies, especially Turkey and Azerbaijan. Today, the Armenian army made a statement and they called for the resignation of the Armenian Prime Minister and the government. And Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, he interpreted this as an attempt to coup d'etat, so he's asking his people to go to the streets and demonstrate and to protect his reign, let's say. The funny thing is, Turkey made a statement today and they defended Pashinyan, and they criticized the attempted coup d'etat in Armenia. And I think this is everything you need to know right now about Pashinyan, that he is the best guy that Azerbaijan and Turkey could wish for. Not because for his democratic system that he is building, but rather because Nikol Pashinyan is very weak leader. He exposed the Armenian national security and make it vulnerable to the enemies, especially to Azerbaijan and Turkey. And based on that, we lost the war, the Second Artsakh War, and we lost 30% of our territories. The second thing is, Nikol Pashinyan, he made sure to spread sentiments, and he promoted indoctrination programs through education and media outlets in order to portray the Armenian national identity or patriotism as a form of radicalism or even fascism. You can go simply on social media outlets and see what the supporters of Pashinyan are talking about the patriotic Armenians or nationalist Armenians, and they're comparing them to fascism, Nazism, etc., etc. I mean, this is from the playbook of Soros and other NGOs, the NED, the USAID, in order to discredit these people. Just say, you're a fascist. Don't argue with them. Don't even try to discuss if other Armenians have any legitimate concerns. Nikol Pashinyan also tried to change the geopolitical position of Armenia from Eurasia into the Atlantic. And by doing so, he, of course, appointed many high-ranking security and military personnel who were anti-Russian, and by doing so he also angered Russia. And let's remember that Armenia's position is in the Southern Caucasus, especially in Nagorno-Karabakh, and it's not, for example, in Canada. So this is the sphere of influence of Russia. Therefore, when you take any action against Russia, you have to expect a reaction from Russia as well, especially that Armenia is highly dependent in security and other sectors on Russia. This is, I think it's a fact. He went to this war, which was launched by the joint war by Azerbaijan and Turkey against Artsakh. He raised the morale of the people. He sold them lies. He told them that we're going to win this war. Even the last day before his signature, putting his signature on the surrender deal, he was just going on Facebook and telling the people we were going to be victorious. He was manipulating the people and raising hopes, but at the same time we were losing territories in Armenia. So he's not only a failed politician, but also he's a manipulator. He lied on the people. Not only during the war, but after the war as well. because of the protests and the people were calling for his resignation, and he told the people, okay, I'm gonna do a snap parliamentary elections. And the people, he tried to contain the anger of the people who were protesting, tens of thousands of people in the streets. He contained their anger, and when the people left the street, he cancelled the snap parliamentary elections. So this guy is a pathological liar, you know, and he's a manipulator. And of course, he has advisors, and there are people advising him also from outside of Armenia. And what he's trying to do is to keep the status quo, to keep the people, the so-called neoliberals who are ruling Armenia right now, to keep the patriots and the nationalist Armenians out of the power, and to fearmonger, to spread fearmongering. The old oligarchies are coming back and they will bring back dictatorship, etc., etc. And speaking about dictatorship, Nikol Pashinyan in 2018 and 19 and 2020, he used to walk in the streets without bodyguards because he was mostly loved by the people, or some people were just misled and they thought that Nikol Pashinyan is a good leader. What's happening right now is that Nikol Pashinyan cannot go to the toilet without a security personnel protecting him. And you can see right now he's walking in the Republic Square, guarded by tens of security personnel. This is the democracy that Pashinyan was preaching for? How the people are loving him? If he's loved by the people, why is he protected by tens of security personnel, well-armed personnel? Ask yourself this question as well. Yesterday, he sacked the deputy chief of the general staff of the Armenian army because a few days ago he made a very, yes, I'm going to say it, a very stupid statement when he was on media. And he was asked why Armenia didn't use the Iskander missile systems that Serge Sarkisyan bought from Russia during the Second Artsakh War. And we all know this weapon is a deterrent, is a weapon to deter your enemies from advancing. For example, if your enemy is advancing, let's say in Hadrut or in Shushi or in the southern parts of Nagorno-Karabakh, then you use this weapon on Azerbaijani territories in order to send a signal to the enemy that I'm gonna hit you if you continue advancing. But he didn't use this weapon. And when he was asked about it, he said, oh, because this weapon is it's not been exploded, so when we use this weapon, it's either not being exploded or the warhead is only exploded by 10%. He made a clown of himself by saying this statement, and like the entire Russian experts, military experts were joking on him, including the deputy chief of the Armenian general staff. He laughed about it when he was asked, and he said this is simply untrue. So when we say Nikol Pashinyan is a traitor because of all these sins that he committed, but also during the war, he had strategic weaponry that he didn't use against the enemy, and he let them occupy these territories. He left the POWs, the prisoners of the war. We have hundreds of POWs now that Nikol Pashinyan is not even asking for them. Without the Russian help and mediation and negotiation, the Armenians would not even get one single POW from the Azerbaijani side. So my statement is, Nikol Pashinyan is the best that Azerbaijan and Turkey could hope for, and he needs to be removed from power. And personally, I prefer that he leaves power like peacefully. He just resigns from power, but he will not do that. And the second option is, I really hope that he declares a snap parliamentary elections, but he will not do that. He already manipulated the people. The third option is a coup d'etat, and I don't personally wish that. But he needs to leave power in any way possible now, because his presence will trigger some sort of an internal conflict and maybe a civil war, because he already called for his supporters to go to the streets, and there are already clashes happening in the streets. So thanks to him, we have a very big rift and polarization within and among the Armenian society. His presence is poisonous. His presence will spread more defeatism among the Armenians. His presence will lead to further defeats for the Armenian army and the Armenian territories. And if he stays in power much longer, the territories that is left now, whether it's in Karabakh or Armenia, these territories will be also exposed and vulnerable, and they could be occupied soon by Turkey and Azerbaijan. Therefore, Armenians, I truly ask you with the bottom of my heart to work against Nikol Pashinyan, remove him from power, and if you are a diasporan, apply for an Armenian citizenship and vote in the next elections. Make a change, and make a change in the Armenian political sphere once and for good. I've been your host, Georg Almasyan of Syriana Analysis. If you like the content of my channel, please hit the subscribe button, as it really helps me a lot. And see you in the next video.